Introduction: The power of thought. Most people believe the rich were simply lucky. They think someone handed them an opportunity, a shortcut, a silver spoon. Others look at the wealthy and whisper words like greedy, selfish, corrupt, as if success is a crime and abundance is something to be ashamed of. But here's the truth: no one talks about enough. Very few ever stop and ask the real question. What do the rich think about daily, deeply, differently, that makes them so different from everyone else? What goes on in their minds before the money arrives? What kind of beliefs do they hold? What fears do they overcome? What habits shape their lives, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? In this audiobook, we're not going to talk about how to get rich quick. We're not here to sell dreams. We're here to uncover the real, raw mindset differences that shape the destiny of millions. Because success is rarely an accident. It's almost always a pattern, a way of thinking, a way of behaving, repeated over and over again. The core difference. Let me ask you a simple question. If you gave $1 million to a poor man with a poor mindset and $100,000 to a rich man with a rich mindset, who would end up wealthier 5 years later? Think about it. The poor man might waste it. He might spend it trying to impress people. He might fear losing it, so he hides it, or worse, invests it poorly, because he doesn't yet have the mindset to handle wealth. The rich man, on the other hand, he'd invest that $100,000 wisely. He'd multiply it. He'd find opportunities. He'd build, not spend, because his mind is trained to grow money, not just earn it. This isn't about how much money you have. It's about the blueprint in your brain. And that's what this audiobook is really about. Mindset over money. Let's get one thing straight. Rich and poor are not just bank statements. They are mental states. You can have a poor mindset, even if you're making good money. You can have a rich mindset, even while struggling financially. Because money doesn't solve mindset, but mindset can solve money. You see, a poor mindset focuses on scarcity, fear, blame, luck, quick fixes, while a rich mindset is built on abundance, responsibility, growth, discipline, long-term thinking. Same world, same opportunities, but completely different eyes looking at it. This audiobook is for you if you've ever felt stuck in life, financially or mentally. You've looked at successful people and thought, what am I doing wrong? You want to break free from generational poverty, both in money and in mindset. You want to train your brain to think like builders, creators, leaders, the people who rise no matter what. If you're tired of struggling, not just with your wallet, but with your self-worth, if you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, then keep listening. Because the gap between rich and poor isn't always opportunity. It's not always background. It's not even always education. The gap is thinking. What to expect ahead. In the chapters ahead, we'll break down how poor thinkers view money versus how rich thinkers use it, why poor people chase comfort and rich people chase growth, the habits that keep people stuck and the routines that free them, how environment, friends, and content shape your financial destiny, how the rich handle failure while the poor fear it, and most importantly, how you can rewire your own thoughts to start living a wealthier, wiser life, starting today. This isn't about becoming rich just in your wallet. It's about becoming rich in mind, purpose, and direction. So here's your first challenge. Stop blaming. Stop waiting. Stop looking for shortcuts. Start looking inward. Start paying attention to your thoughts. Start listening not just to this audiobook, but to yourself. Because the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act, it's all adding up to your reality. And if your reality isn't what you want right now, good. That means you have the power to change it. Not overnight, but thought by thought, habit by habit, action by action. This is how the poor become rich. This is how the small become powerful. This is how you evolve. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1: Income versus Value. Imagine two people. One wakes up each morning checking the clock, rushing to a job they don't enjoy, just trying to make it through the day and collect a paycheck. The other wakes up thinking, what can I create today that helps people, solves problems, and continues to earn for me even when I'm not working? These two people don't just live different lifestyles, they live in completely different mindsets. One is focused on income. The other is focused on value. And that difference changes everything. The income mindset, trading time for money. People with a poor mindset often chase income. They want a fixed salary, an hourly wage, a guaranteed paycheck at the end of the month. And yes, there's nothing wrong with jobs. They provide stability, they pay the bills, they teach discipline. But here's the trap. When you only think in terms of, I work X hours, I earn Y amount, you put a limit on your income. You're capped by time. There are only 24 hours in a day. Only so much energy a person can give. Only so far you can go trading time for money. This is the loop many people get stuck in. Work, earn, spend, survive, repeat. It's a cycle of survival, not freedom. The value mindset, earning from impact. Now flip that mindset. Rich thinkers focus not on income, but on value. They ask themselves, what problems can I solve for others? What can I build once that helps many people over time? How can I earn passively through systems and solutions? Instead of thinking, how much will I earn for working today? They think, how can I create something once that continues to serve and earn? This is what separates short-term earners from long-term builders. Two very different cycles. Someone working for income might make $200 in a day by putting in 8 hours of labor. But a value creator might spend 1 week building something, a course, a digital product, a service, or a brand that pays for years. One is transactional, the other is exponential. One depends on showing up every single day. The other creates something that shows up for you, even when you rest. This is the difference between a job mindset and a builder's mindset. From working in the system to creating the system. Most people are taught to work in the system. Study hard, get a job, stick with it, retire. That's the default programming. But rich-thinking people ask, why not create a system? Why not design a process that others benefit from, and that pays me over time? Why not build something that scales? This mindset isn't about arrogance. It's about efficiency. It's about freedom. It's about leverage. Leverage, the key concept. Here's a principle the wealthy understand deeply. Leverage. Leverage means doing work once and reaping the rewards many times. Examples of leverage: writing a book that sells for years, building a YouTube channel that earns from ads, launching a product that keeps selling, creating a service that can be outsourced. Leverage turns effort into ongoing value. It breaks the time for money trap. It opens the door to scalable income. The scarcity versus abundance mindset. People stuck in income thinking often ask, what's in it for me? How much will I get paid? Is this worth my time? But people with a value-driven mindset ask, how can I make this better for others? What impact can I create? How can I help at scale? The first group lives in scarcity, believing there's not enough to go around. The second group operates from abundance, understanding that solving real problems leads to real wealth. Real-world perspective. Look around at successful entrepreneurs, creators, innovators. They didn't just chase income, they created value. They didn't ask, how can I earn more? They asked, how can I serve more? That's why their income followed. Because here's a truth most never realize. Money is a reward for value. The more value you provide, the more money you attract. Applying this to your life, wherever you are, student, job holder, freelancer, small business owner, this mindset shift applies to you. Here's how to start thinking like a value creator. Focus on problems, not paychecks. Ask, what problem can I solve in a way others can't? Build once, sell many times. Digital products, content, scalable services, repeatable systems. Invest in skills that multiply your value. Copywriting, marketing, design, communication, automation. Shift your goal from income to impact. The more people you help, the bigger your rewards. Income is fruit. Value is the seed. Here's the core takeaway. Income is the fruit. Value is the seed. Chasing income without creating value is like asking for fruit without planting the tree. That's why some people work for decades and remain stuck, while others work smart for a few years and build wealth that lasts. Don't just work harder, work smarter. Build things, solve problems, create systems. Let value lead the way, and income will follow. Chapter 2: Spending versus Investing. Let's talk about something that silently shapes your future. What you do with your money after you earn it. Not how much you earn, but what you do once it hits your hands. Because this is where most people unknowingly write the script of their financial life. And it starts with a simple but powerful difference. Poor thinking minds spend. Rich thinking minds invest. Spending before saving. People with a poor mindset spend before they save. Their first thought after getting paid is, what can I buy? New shoes, the latest phone, fast food, trendy clothes, weekend entertainment. They chase comfort. They chase appearance. They chase validation. It feels good now, but it doesn't grow anything later. Their money disappears into things that lose value the moment they're bought. And month after month, year after year, they work hard but stay stuck because nothing they buy returns anything back. Investing before spending. People with a rich mindset think differently. Their first thought is, how can I make this money work for me? They delay comfort and invest in skills that improve their value, tools that multiply their output, knowledge that sharpens their thinking, assets that grow over time. They don't just spend, they plant. They don't buy liabilities, they build assets. While the poor thinking mind is buying the newest gadget, the rich thinking mind is buying a course, a camera, a laptop, a mentorship, anything that creates return. Because rich thinkers understand, spending brings pleasure, investing brings power. Liabilities versus assets. Let's break this down even more. A liability takes money out of your pocket. An asset puts money into your pocket. A giant TV that doesn't earn you anything, liability. A camera you use to create content and earn, asset. Expensive clothes that fade, liability. An online store that earns while you sleep, asset. Poor thinking minds fill their homes with liabilities. Stuff that looks good but does nothing. Stuff that shows off but doesn't pay off. Rich thinking minds build their future with assets. Things that may not impress anyone right now, but silently build freedom later. The habit of delayed gratification. Here's the real secret. Poor thinkers want to feel rich immediately. Rich thinkers are okay feeling broke while they build wealth. One chooses pleasure now, struggle later. The other chooses discipline now, freedom later. This is called delayed gratification, the ability to wait for a greater reward instead of grabbing a smaller one immediately. It's one of the most powerful habits of successful people. They know how to say, "Not yet. Let me build first. Let me invest in growth before I reward myself." That's not sacrifice, that's strategy. What rich thinkers invest in? Let's get specific. Here's what rich thinking minds invest in, again and again. Skills, public speaking, marketing, coding, sales, content creation, design, negotiation, etc. These bring lifetime returns. Tools, a better microphone, faster laptop, better editing software, business automation. These boost productivity and output. Assets, stocks, real estate, digital products, businesses. These grow in value and generate income. Relationships, networking, mentorships, mastermind groups. These open doors money can't. Health, fitness, sleep, mental clarity. Because wealth without health is a trap. Spending creates moments. Investing creates momentum. The difference in questions. Here's what it sounds like inside their heads. Poor thinking mind. How can I treat myself? What can I buy to feel better right now? Rich thinking mind. How can I grow this money? What will give me returns for the next 5 to 10 years? Same money, different mindset, radically different results. The trap of consumer culture. Let's be honest. The world is built to make you spend. Ads everywhere. Flash sales. One-click purchases. Social media influencers flaunting luxury. Peer pressure. FOMO. It's constant. And if you're not intentional, you'll fall into the trap. Earning just to spend. Buying just to feel seen. Upgrading just to keep up. But here's the truth. You don't have to buy every trend. You have to build your trend. You don't have to impress strangers. Spending keeps you in a loop. Investing sets you free. Let's zoom out for a second. Spending feels good once, but investing feels good for years. Spending gives you stuff. Investing gives you options. Spending drains your energy. Investing multiplies it. When you invest in yourself, your skills, your growth, you're not just buying products. You're buying possibility. Your next steps. So how can you shift from spending to investing? Track your money. Know where it goes. You can't change what you don't measure. Set limits on non-essential spending. Ask, is this a need or a distraction? Build a learning budget. Every month, set aside a portion for your mind, your tools, your growth. Delay big purchases. If it's not urgent or necessary, wait 30 days. Most impulses fade. Start with small investments. A $20 course, a $30 tool, a $50 service that saves you time. You don't need millions to invest. You need discipline and clarity. Spending is easy. Investing is intelligent. Anyone can spend. Very few invest. Spending makes you look rich. Investing makes you become rich. So next time you're about to buy something, stop and ask, is this adding to my future? Will this pay me back somehow? Am I buying comfort or building growth? Because that one decision, spend or invest, will either keep you where you are or take you somewhere you've never been. Chapter 3: Fear versus Learning. Failure, a word that paralyzes some and educates others. It's not failure itself that defines a person, it's how they respond to it. Because when failure strikes, there are two roads. One leads to fear, avoidance, and quitting. The other leads to analysis, adjustment, and growth. And here lies one of the most powerful mindset differences in the world. The poor are afraid of failure. The rich are hungry for feedback. The fear of failure. In a poor thinking mindset, failure is the end. It's the sign that says you're not good enough. You weren't meant for this. See, you should have played it safe. Failing once is enough to make them give up entirely. They say, I tried, it didn't work. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. What will people say? So they retreat. They stop trying, stop learning, stop growing. And in that moment, they don't just lose the battle, they surrender their future. The power of feedback. But the rich thinking mind, they see failure differently. They understand that every failure is a signal, not a sentence, a lesson, not a loss, a stepping stone, not a dead end. When they fall, they ask, what went wrong? What can I do better? What is this teaching me? They don't take failure personally. They take it professionally. Because in their eyes, failure isn't rejection, it's redirection. Failure as a classroom. The poor see failure as a wall. The rich see it as a whiteboard. They study their mistakes. They embrace their errors. They treat feedback like gold because they know every great idea was once a bad idea refined. Every expert was once a beginner who failed forward. Look at any successful person. Every entrepreneur has launched something that flopped. Every creator has uploaded content that didn't perform. Every investor has made decisions that backfired. Every athlete has lost before they ever won. But what separates them is simple. They didn't stop. They saw failure as part of the process, not proof that they should quit. The cycle of growth. Here's what the poor thinking cycle looks like. Try, fail, quit, stay stuck. And here's what the rich thinking cycle looks like. Try, fail, learn, improve, try again, grow. That second cycle, that's how champions are made. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's mindset. The fear that holds people back. Let's call it out. Most people don't fear failure itself. They fear what failure means to others. Embarrassment, judgment, rejection, looking like a beginner, not being good enough. But here's the truth. Everyone starts bad. Everyone looks awkward. Everyone falls. It's part of the journey. Fear whispers, don't try, you might lose. But growth says, try or you'll never win. Rejecting perfectionism. Poor thinking minds seek perfection. They want to succeed without struggle. They want instant mastery. They fear looking messy. But rich thinkers, they know progress beats perfection every time. They release the imperfect product, launch the rough idea, post the first video, publish the first blog, start the business before it's fully polished. Because they understand. You don't get better by waiting. You get better by doing. The language of learning. Here's what poor thinking minds say after failure. I'm not good at this. This isn't for me. I knew it wouldn't work. And here's what rich thinking minds say. I haven't mastered this yet. What did I learn? How can I improve next time? See the difference? One speaks from fear. The other speaks from growth. Tools for failing forward. If you want to think like a winner, start doing what winners do when they fail. 1. Write it down. Document what went wrong. Don't let the lesson disappear. 2. Ask for feedback. Find someone you trust and say, "What could I have done better?" 3. Reframe failure. Stop calling it failure. Call it data. Call it a test. 4. Try again quickly. Don't wait months. Don't overthink. Learn and move. 5. Celebrate effort. Applaud yourself for taking the shot, even if you missed. Why failure is necessary. Think about this. Babies fall hundreds of times before they walk. Writers get rejected before they get published. Businesses lose money before they become profitable. Artists are ignored before they're admired. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to it. You can't win without losing. You can't master anything without messing up. And the sooner you embrace failure, the faster you evolve. Your next step. The next time you fail, don't ask, "Why me? What's wrong with me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me? What can I adjust? How can I turn this into fuel?" Because that's what the rich-minded do. They don't run from failure, they run with it. Fear stops you. Learning builds you. Fear is natural, but letting it control your life, that's optional. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to progress. So fail fast, learn fast, adjust faster. Treat failure like a mentor, not a monster. Because every failure holds a secret, and if you're brave enough to face it, you unlock the future you've been chasing. Chapter 4. Blame versus responsibility. The default reaction, blame. Most people, when life gets hard, point fingers outward. They blame the economy. They blame their parents. They blame their boss. They blame their bad luck. If only I were born into a rich family. If the government wasn't corrupt, I'd be successful. If they hadn't betrayed me, I'd be ahead by now. This is poor thinking. Blame is easy. Blame is automatic. Blame feels good for a moment. But blame does one terrible thing. It removes your power. Because the moment you say, "It's not my fault," what you're really saying is, "It's not my responsibility to fix it." And that's how poor thinkers stay stuck. The rich thinker's power, ownership. Rich thinkers don't play the blame game. They play the ownership game. They may not be at fault for what happened, but they take responsibility for what happens next. I didn't choose my childhood, but I choose how I grow from it. The market crashed, but I'll find another way to serve. They wronged me, but I won't waste my future resenting them. This mindset isn't just mature, it's liberating. When you take responsibility, you take control. Why poor thinkers choose blame? Blame gives a short-term emotional escape. It gives the illusion that you're not the problem. And if you're not the problem, you don't have to do the hard work of change. But the cost of blame is huge. You remain powerless, angry, and stuck. That's why poor-thinking people often repeat the same cycle. New job, same frustration. New relationship, same problems. New city, same pain. Because if you don't take responsibility, nothing actually changes. The responsibility formula. Here's a mindset shift that rich thinkers live by. Everything in my life isn't my fault, but it is my responsibility. This single idea builds confidence, resilience, and progress. Responsibility leads to learning. What can I take from this situation? Action. What can I do differently now? Growth. How can I prevent this from happening again? Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" rich thinkers ask, "What can I learn here? How did I contribute to this? What can I do next?" Real-world examples. A poor-thinking student blames the teacher for bad grades. A rich-thinking student asks, "Did I study well enough? Can I improve my methods?" A poor-thinking worker blames the company for low pay. A rich-thinking worker asks, "How can I increase my value? Can I develop better skills?" A poor-thinking entrepreneur blames the economy. A rich-thinking entrepreneur looks for what people need now and adapts fast. The freedom in responsibility. Here's the truth most people don't want to accept. Blame is a prison. Responsibility is freedom. Blame keeps you locked in the past. Responsibility gives you a key to the future. Blame means you're waiting for someone else to fix your life. Responsibility means you can start right now. Rich thinkers choose freedom by choosing responsibility. Summary: poor thinkers blame, rich thinkers own. Blame feels easy but costs growth. Responsibility is hard at first, but leads to freedom. Every great transformation begins with these words: "It's up to me." Chapter 5: Short-term versus long-term thinking. The trap of instant gratification. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of instant gratification, that desire to get what we want right now. Poor thinking minds live in this cycle. They want fast money, fast food, fast results. If an idea doesn't show returns within a week, they give up. If a side hustle doesn't explode within a month, they quit. They chase shiny opportunities without sticking to one long enough to see results. This mindset is fueled by the modern world. Social media highlights, get-rich-quick ads, and the illusion of overnight success. But the truth is, there is no such thing as overnight success. Every sudden success story is backed by years of hard work, learning, failing, and growing, all of which happen behind the scenes. Short-term thinking makes people choose what feels good now over what's right long-term. They would rather buy a $500 phone on credit than invest that same money into an online course that could pay off for years. They would rather eat junk today and suffer poor health tomorrow. They want comfort now, not freedom later. The power of long-term thinking. On the other hand, rich thinking minds play the long game. They understand that wealth, health, and happiness are all built brick by brick over time. They invest in things that may not show results today, but will compound in value in the future. This mindset is not about being slow. It's about being smart. When you think long-term, you focus on building skills that increase your value over time. You build relationships based on trust, not quick wins. You start businesses that grow, not hustle for money that disappears tomorrow. Long-term thinkers don't fall for quick dopamine hits. They chase freedom, financial, mental, and emotional. They are patient, consistent, and strategic. And because of that, they win in the long run. Delayed gratification is a superpower. Delayed gratification, the ability to resist a smaller reward now for a bigger reward later, is one of the most powerful traits of successful people. It's what separates the rich from the poor, the wise from the impulsive. Let's break it down. The poor mind says, "Why wait? Life is short, enjoy now." The rich mind says, "Because life is long, build wisely." Examples: a short-term thinker eats whatever feels good. A long-term thinker eats what fuels their body. A short-term thinker buys liabilities, like the latest gadgets. A long-term thinker buys assets, like stocks, businesses, or courses. A short-term thinker says, "I'll start tomorrow." A long-term thinker says, "What I do today shapes my tomorrow." Long-term thinkers are not boring or slow. They're focused. They know they can have the fun, the freedom, the comfort, just not all at once. Building the long-term mindset. So, how do you shift from short-term to long-term thinking? 1. Set a vision. Think 5, 10, 15 years ahead. What do you want your life to look like? Financially, mentally, physically. Start with the end in mind. 2. Delay small pleasures. Every time you resist a small pleasure today, you build discipline. Whether it's skipping a useless purchase or choosing to read instead of scrolling, you're training your mind to think long-term. 3. Track progress, not perfection. Long-term thinking doesn't mean slow progress. It means consistent progress. Show up every day, even if it's just 1%, because 1% every day for a year becomes massive. 4. Focus on compounding. Long-term thinkers understand the magic of compounding. Whether it's compounding knowledge, relationships, or money, what starts small grows beyond imagination over time. From dopamine to discipline. Short-term thinkers live off dopamine. It's that quick hit from a notification, a sale, a like. But it's fleeting. It fades, and it leaves you empty, craving the next hit. Long-term thinkers live by discipline. Discipline is the muscle that helps you say no to distractions and yes to your goals. It's what makes you show up even when motivation fades. And it's what separates average from great. Remember, dopamine makes you feel good for a moment. Discipline makes you feel proud for a lifetime. Legacy over lifestyle. Short-term thinking is about lifestyle. Looking good, feeling good, showing off. Long-term thinking is about legacy. Building something that lasts, something meaningful. Poor thinking minds think only of today. Rich thinking minds build for generations. They think beyond themselves. They understand that true wealth is freedom, and true success is sustainability. So the next time you're tempted by a shortcut, a shiny object, or a quick fix, pause. Ask yourself, does this feed my future or just my feelings? Am I building dopamine or freedom? Because in the end, wealth is not built in speed, it's built in direction. And those who think long-term always win. Chapter 6. Environment and Circle. Your circle shapes your ceiling. Your environment either pulls you forward or holds you back. The power of proximity. Poor thinking minds surround themselves with complainers who see problems in every solution, gossipers who speak about people, not ideas, settlers who gave up on growth long ago. These circles normalize mediocrity. They celebrate comfort. They mock ambition. If everyone around you is stuck, chances are you will be too. Rich thinking circles look different. Rich thinking people curate their environment like a garden. They choose mentors over critics. They seek ideas, not approval. They value challenge, not comfort. They understand one powerful truth. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Being around driven, disciplined, and forward-thinking people raises your standards. They push you when you're tired. They check you when you're lazy. They remind you of who you said you wanted to become. Energy is contagious. Motivation, belief, confidence, these are emotions we catch from others. Poor environments drain energy. You feel judged, misunderstood, or alone. Rich environments feed energy. You feel inspired, focused, and seen. And this energy becomes your fuel. Be ruthless with access. Your dreams are too important to let the wrong people infect them. You don't need to be rude, but you do need to be intentional. Ask yourself, who in my life adds value to my mind? Who pushes me to grow? Who makes me believe I can do more? If someone makes you doubt your goals more than believe in them, that's not your circle. That's your cage. Curate over conform. Your environment is not just your location. It's the conversations you entertain, the content you consume, and the people you allow close. You don't have to conform to what's around you. You can create a new environment, digitally, mentally, socially. Books, podcasts, YouTube channels, mentors, forums, these are your weapons. Use them to build your new normal. Your future is hidden in your environment. Choose wisely, because growth is hard in the wrong soil. Chapter 7: Fixed Mindset versus Growth Mindset. The core beliefs. At the heart of every success story is a simple belief: I can improve. This is the growth mindset, the belief that intelligence, skill, talent, and success are not set in stone. They're built brick by brick through effort, feedback, and persistence. But on the other side of the spectrum is the fixed mindset, the belief that your abilities are predetermined. If you fail, it's because you're not good at it. If you struggle, it means you don't have the talent. One mindset fuels progress, the other freezes it. The language of each mindset. A fixed mindset person says, I'm just not good with money. I can't speak in public. This is too hard. I wasn't born smart. A growth mindset person says, I'm not good with money yet. How can I learn public speaking? This is hard, and that's a good thing. Let me figure it out. The difference is subtle in words, but massive in results. Your words reflect your inner programming. Upgrade that, and your entire world changes. Mistakes, threat versus teacher. People with a fixed mindset fear mistakes. Why? Because to them, mistakes mean they're not good enough. But for growth-minded people, mistakes are feedback, the most honest teacher in the world. They don't run from failure. They run through it and learn on the way. The question is not, did you fail? The question is, what did you learn? Comfort versus challenge. Fixed mindsets crave safety. They want to do what they already know. Why? Because growth threatens the ego. It exposes weakness. Growth mindsets seek challenge. They want to step into discomfort, because discomfort is where transformation happens. Going to the gym hurts. Learning a new skill feels awkward. Speaking in public is scary, but that's where the growth lives. Talent versus grit. The poor thinking mind overvalues talent. They believe some people are naturally good and others are not. The rich thinking mind knows the truth. Talent is nothing without grit. Grit is the passion and perseverance to keep going when it's boring, frustrating, or hard. Over time, grit beats talent, because consistent practice always outperforms natural potential that sits still. Mindset is a choice. Here's the most powerful part. You're not born with a fixed or growth mindset. It's not in your DNA. It's in your decisions. Every day, you choose how you think. Every failure, every obstacle, every opportunity is a chance to react with either, this is too hard, or this is where I grow. Mindset plus momentum equals mastery. Let's wrap this up with a formula. Mindset is your internal compass. Momentum is your daily action. Together, they create mastery. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be born lucky. You just need a mind that says, let's figure this out, and the courage to take the next step. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your mindset. So build the mindset first. The results will follow. Closing thoughts. So, how do you think? Are your thoughts planting seeds of wealth or building invisible walls of poverty? Because the true difference between the rich and the poor isn't just found in bank accounts. It's found in beliefs, in daily habits, in the small decisions repeated every day. Wealth begins in the mind. You don't need to be born rich. You just need to think rich. Shift your mindset from blame to ownership, from fear to learning, from dopamine to discipline. Because once you change how you think, you change what becomes possible. Money follows mindset. Success follows self-mastery. So ask yourself, are you thinking poor or thinking rich? This is Mind Fuel Audio. If this message made you pause and reflect, like the video, comment your favorite insight, and subscribe for more content that fuels your mind and builds your future. Because your mindset is your greatest asset. Let's grow it together.